Beautiful statues around, and it's amazing. I really enjoyed when I played on that court.
I don't have a lot of experience, that's for sure, but I do have experience with compartmentalizing. I have no hesitation to that part of me out when I...
Eala's Rome story is no longer just about tennis. It's about history, identity, and a country finally seeing its flag rise on one of the sport's oldest stages. For nearly a century, the marble statues surrounding Court Pietrangeli had watched champions from every corner of the tennis world compete beneath them. Europe, South America, the United States, Eastern Europe. But through all those decades, one nation had never truly entered the story: the Philippines. That changed in May 2026. "I don't have a lot of experience, that's for sure," Eala once admitted. "Welcome our YouTube channel Sportiva Arena. But I do have experience with compartmentalizing. I have no hesitation in leaving that part of me behind when I step on court." On May 6, 2026, the 20-year-old stepped onto the clay of the Foro Italico and became the first Filipino player in the Open era to win a main draw match at the Italian Open. And she wasn't finished. 48 hours later, she did it again. Ranked number 42 in the world, Eala arrived in Rome carrying far more than a tennis racket. She carried the weight of a nation that had never before broken through on this stage. But in between those victories, something unexpected happened. Eala took a quiet walk through Rome. And during that walk, she discovered a connection to the city that stretched back generations. One that transformed this week from a sports breakthrough into something deeply personal. Before arriving in Italy, Eala's Rome record was simple: 0 main draw wins. In fact, no Filipino player, male or female, had ever even appeared in the Italian Open main draw during the Open era. The tournament itself dates back to 1930. Thousands of players had competed there across nearly a century of tennis history. Yet the Philippines had never truly been part of it. That absence wasn't accidental. Tennis opportunities historically developed in Europe, the Americas, and later Eastern Europe, while Southeast Asia remained largely outside the sport's traditional power structure. Eala didn't arrive to politely participate in history. She arrived to change it. Her opening opponent was Poland's Magdalena Frach, ranked number 45 in the world, and considered the favorite on clay. Analysts described Eala's draw as brutal. Some even called it a nightmare. Then the match began. Eala stormed through the opening set 6-0, completely overwhelming Frach. When the Polish player fought back to take the second set 6-3, many expected the momentum to shift permanently. Instead, Eala responded like a veteran. She regrouped, absorbed the pressure, and closed the deciding set 6-4. Final score: 6-0, 3-6, 6-4. That victory officially made her the first Filipino player in the Open era to win a main draw match at the Italian Open. But the bigger moment was still ahead. 2 days later, Eala faced China's Wang Xinyu, ranked number 31 in the world, and already holding a previous win over her earlier in the season. The match started badly. Eala quickly fell behind 0-3 in the opening set, on one of Rome's most historic courts, against a higher-ranked opponent who had beaten her before. The pressure was enormous. Then everything changed. Eala won 6 of the next 7 games. She eventually closed out the match 6-4, 6-3 in just 1 hour and 26 minutes, leveling the head-to-head series at 1-1 and becoming the first Filipino player ever to reach the round of 32 in Rome. Her live ranking jumped to a career-high number 42. But statistics alone didn't capture what was happening inside Court Pietrangeli. Fans had flown in from London, Germany, Malta, and across Europe just to watch her play. Filipino flags rose above the marble statues.
Beautiful statues around, and it's amazing. I really enjoyed when I played on that court.
I don't have a lot of experience, that's for sure, but I do have experience with compartmentalizing. I have no hesitation to that part of me out.
Chance of Laban, Alex? echoed through one of tennis' most iconic venues. Even Italian spectators reportedly joined in with chants of Forza Alex. It no longer felt like a normal tennis match. It felt like a movement. Then came the walk through Rome. Between matches, Eala explored the city and eventually passed the Philippine embassy to the Vatican. At first, she didn't think much of it. Then she learned something extraordinary. Her great-grandmother had once worked there. I was like, okay, we really are everywhere, Eala later told reporters. And then I learned that my great-grandmother used to work there way back when. So it felt full circle. Something sentimental. That moment changed the emotional weight of everything happening in Rome. This wasn't just a player making history in a foreign city. Her family had already left footprints there generations earlier. Now she was leaving her own, this time on red clay, under the eyes of the tennis world. The WTA's official records now permanently recognize what happened this week. Eala became the first Filipino player ever to appear in and win a main draw match at the Italian Open in the Open era. And the story may not be over yet. Next comes the biggest challenge of all world. Number 2. Elena Rybakina. On paper, the matchup looks overwhelming. Rybakina owns one of the strongest records in WTA, 1,000 events, including a Wimbledon title and previous success in Rome. But there's one interesting detail historically. Rome's third round has not always been her strongest stage. That small opening is all Eala needs. A victory would make her the first Filipino player, male or female, ever to reach the round of 16 in Rome. It would also place her among a very short list of Asian players to defeat a top 5 opponent at this tournament. Beyond Rome, the momentum keeps building. Roland Garros begins on May 24th, followed by Wimbledon, the tournament Eala has openly described as her dream stage. For the first time in her career, she won't arrive at those events as an overlooked outsider. She'll arrive as a player the draw must account for, and tennis itself is starting to respond. The growing support around Eala is already influencing tournaments, attendance, sponsorship interest, and fan engagement across Southeast Asia. Filipino fans traveling across continents to watch her compete is more than loyalty. It's proof that the sport's global reach is evolving in real time. Earlier this year in Auckland, Wang Xinyu defeated Eala in the semifinals. That loss reinforced the belief that Eala still struggled to close out big matches against elite opponents. Rome changed that narrative. When she fell behind 0-3 again this week, it looked like history might repeat itself. Instead, she flipped the script point by point, refusing to allow the past to define the future. That may be the most important breakthrough of all. The marble statues at Court Pietrangeli witnessed something their creators could never have imagined. Nearly a century ago, a Filipino woman rewriting tennis history while unknowingly retracing the footsteps of her own family in the same city. The fans saw it before the rankings updated, before the headlines changed, before the record books caught up. Now the records are official. The century-long barrier at the Italian Open did not fall quietly. It fell with chants in 2 languages, flags waving above marble courts, and a 20-year-old from the Philippines refusing to back down. Now one question remains. Can Eala defeat Elena Rybakina and become the first Filipino player ever to reach the round of 16 in Rome? Or will the experience and power of a world number 2 prove too much on one of tennis' grandest stages? The door is open. Now the match will decide what happens next.